Vampire.
Vampires are perhaps the most badass mythical monsters of all time. A single-minded killing machine, nearly invincible with superhuman powers. They make the perfect movie villain. Throughout the decades, we have seen so many great vampire movies. But something terrible happened to this genre about 20 years ago. The Twilight books were released, followed by the unfortunately successful Twilight film series. Instead of badass evil creatures, we now had glittery, angst-filled, 200-year-old teens falling in love, getting married, and having babies. And it's best not to think about the moral implications of a 200-year-old man seducing a minor. Now, last year, however, the film Nosferatu was released. This was a more return to form. Once again, we found an unstoppable, amoral creature of a single-minded purpose. Now, this past weekend brought us the film Sinners, Ryan Coogler's newest film, which falls into the vampire genre. So what do we have here? Is this more of a return to form, an old-school vampire film? Or is this one of those modern-day subversions of the genre? Well, before we answer that, let's talk a little bit about the plot for the film Sinners.
Sit down, let's have a chat.
It's 1932. Identical twins and World War I veterans Smoke and Stack return to the Mississippi Delta after years in Chicago working with the mob. Using money they stole from gangsters, they purchase a sawmill to start a juke joint for the local black community. Their young cousin Sammy, an aspiring guitarist, joins them despite opposition from his pastor father, who warns that music is dangerously supernatural. On opening night, Sammy's music is transcendent. It summons spirits of both the past and the future to join the entranced crowd. However, the performance draws the attention of Remick. Remick is a vampire who, along with his cohorts, are wandering the area. Remick and friends arrive with money. They want to enter the juke joint, they say, to hear the music. The twins are very suspicious, however, and they refuse to allow him and his friends in. However, Mary, a friend of both men, goes out to talk to Remick and confront him, see what he is really like. They, however, turn her into a vampire. She is then allowed back into the juke joint where carnage ensues. Now the few desperate surviving humans attempt to hold off Remick and his growing horde of vampires until the sun rises. So what works in this film? I think we really have to start acknowledging Michael B. Jordan as one of the better actors working today. He plays both Smoke and Stack, and while the twins have many personality traits that are similar, they are different in many other respects, and Jordan plays both characters very well. He's at the top of his game here. As is Haley Steinfeld, who plays Mary, the friend of the twins, who has a very complicated past relation with Stack. Jack O'Connell, who plays the vampire Remick, he plays him in the old school version. He's sly, he's cunning, he's powerful, and he's also absolutely terrifying and evil. Big time shout out to actor Miles Canton. He plays Sammy. This is his first major film role, and I think this kid has a pretty bright future. Ryan Coogler does a masterful job bringing this story to life. This is the fifth film that he has both written and directed, and while I did not think Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever was very good, his other three, Creed, The Black Panther, and Fruitvale Station, are wonderful films. Every character in this movie, from the main characters on down, are well developed and engaging, and you feel for them. Again, credit to Coogler. Also, the cinematography is absolutely spectacular. The final confrontations between the surviving humans in the juke joint and the vampires outside are just some of the most astonishing and frightening things you will see on film. The music is also top-notch here as well. And it's not just the blues, which is featured throughout the film and is absolutely wonderful. Believe it or not, the vampires of all creatures, they are a bit musical themselves. Look, I'm a big fan of Irish folk music. I don't think I'll ever be able to hear the song The Rocky Road to Dublin in the same way ever again.
It's like I said, I love this film.
What doesn't work in this film, however, is it just runs a bit too long. This movie clocks in at about 2 hours and 18 minutes long, and you don't feel it, especially in the second and third act, but at the very end, it kind of drags. It has an ending, and then it just kind of keeps going and going and going a little bit. Probably about 10-15 minutes too long. Also, while I did appreciate learning about these characters and the backstory, it takes us about an hour into the film to get to that, confrontation between the humans and the vampires. I don't know if I needed that much build-up and backstory. Absolutely do not let that stop you from seeing this film, because I thought it was otherwise brilliant. Coogler and his team throw everything at us. It's sensational to look at. It's extraordinary to listen to. It defies the genre, and it commits itself entirely to a ghoulish, insane premise. Combining vampires with southern blues, the film is visually stunning and emotionally rich. It proves that Coogler is one of the most exciting filmmakers working today. This is his best film to date, highlighted by a stellar cast led by Michael B. Jordan, who gives his finest performance of his career. No glitter, no teen angst, just a brilliant movie and an incredible addition to the vampire genre. See this one in the theaters.
That was incredible.
Well, that's all for me this week. Tune in next week where I give you my thoughts and feelings on whatever I've seen. In the meantime, click that like button. Subscribe. Leave a comment or a question. Share this video with friends and enemies alike. And as always, thank you for giving me your valuable time. And I'll see you next week. Take care.